The great prophet and King Marcus Mosiah Garvey Jr. was born on August 17, 1887 in St. Ann's Bay in Jamaica. As a young man he traveled widely, and saw the degradation that 4 centuries of white domination had cast black people into. It was then that Garvey, who so loved his people, knew that he had to reverse the bottomless pit of suffering and humiliation that African people now found themselves in. During the early part of the 20th century, of the Western calendar, Garvey arrived at the right time. It was the worst of times, as the African continent had been subjected to an unparalleled savage attack by racist nations. The wanton kidnapping and brutal enslavement of countless Africans. Africa had been systemically depopulated for centuries of her greatest resource. Her sons and daughters, the mothers and fathers of humanity itself, faced a loss of life on such a staggeringly unbelievable scale. It is hard to see the pale perpetrators of this psychopathic crime as even human. Garvey was not born when the Berlin Conference of 1884 occurred, where the uncivilized nations of Europe met to plan how they would continue the vicious race war they had launched against Africans, a race war they did not even declare. From enslaving people to nations. Everywhere the pale-skinned Europeans went they turned it into a blood-soaked killing field. This is the scene that Garvey arrived in, and cogently analyzed. He then said to himself, where is the black man's government? Where is the black man's king? Where are their great men and women? Garvey, who had traveled quite extensively, said he could not find any. It was from this context and view of the world, that he made up his mind to do something about it. He set about making his life work, raising up the African race, to restore her dignity, her confidence, her honor, to regain her respectful and rightful position in the world. It was a noble and extraordinary task that he set himself. But he was the right man for the job. In 1914, Garvey returned back to Jamaica and created the Black Nationalist Organization, which he called the Universal Negro Improvement Association. This organization in a short few years would become the greatest ever African non-governmental movement. Garvey's newly founded organization was built on 3 indivisible pillars. The first was the concept of race first. This meant putting ourselves first in all that we do. Black people, only black people must define and interpret their own reality. We must manifest cultural creations that uplift us, that exalts us. So, our histories, stories, music, songs, poetry, plays and our narrative must extol our greatness. Race first means our culture must empower us to fight for justice, equality, and self-determination. We must see beauty in our physical selves at all times. We set our standards. We must not allow any media controlled by aliens to control our thoughts. We and only we must decide on who our heroes and sheroes are.
Understand your history. That will begin the process of healing. Understand what has been done to you. Understand that you're riding somebody else's train, going in somebody else's direction towards their own destination. Understand that you are the father of humanity. Understand, as a black woman, you are the mother of humanity. You gave birth to the first human being. Understand that before they were, you were. Why do you allow those you gave birth to, those whose sheer existence depends on you, to abuse you?
Whoa.